If you are wondering when the best possible time to buy and sell your GALA tokens for the highest rewards possible, well, do not worry. This is the video for you. But the best thing about this video is the information and tools I provide to you are cross-transferable across any cryptocurrency. You only have to do it once and you don't have to be an expert. So the 4 tools we'll be using today are on screen now. Number 1 is year-to-date difference. This will allow us to find a price of where we're floating right now compared to the start of the year, which so coincidentally happened to be when Bitcoin was at its lowest price in the last few years. So it's a great comparison. Number 2, the vesting and emissions right up until December of 2025. Now, the next bull market should commence in about 12 months from the date of today's video. But ultimately, we don't know when the next bull market peak is going to be. So I believe we can kind of safely assume late December 25 will be a good time to find how much supply will be out at around that time there, okay? This will all make sense in a bit. Number 3, market dominance. This is how we're pretty much going to find the rough sort of market cap of the project at that point in time. This will, again, make sense in just a minute. And most importantly, important upgrades. Now, I say 23, 24, and 2025, but ultimately, ideally 2024 and 2025. This is going to enhance the market dominance score, which will ultimately mean more market cap, meaning higher token price. Again, let's dive into it in today's video, guys. I want to make sure this is nice and easy for you to understand, again, because ideally, I want to make sure you can use this on other projects as well. Now, this is what we use year to date, okay? So again, Bitcoin in the first of this year was at $16,550, okay? Now, again, this was the lowest price it had been for a few years now, so it just so happens to be very easy for us to press year to date, which would be typically about here on CoinMarketCap. It'll instantly tell us on a project, you know, when its kind of lowest price will be. Now, for example, with GALA, the current price is about 0.038 cents, and we can see back here it was pretty much half, right? Almost exactly half at 0.016 cents. So you can see we've inflated by about 2.4x, okay? So this is a great example of, you know, when it might be a good time to buy or sell. Now, this to me actually isn't a bad time to buy if it's 3, 4, 5, even 600% plus up. That to me is, you know, the price is too inflated, it's overbought, and so I'm not going to want to look at the project just yet. But luckily for us, it is a good time for GALA for us to at least start looking into it, okay? So back then, the market cap was about $116 million, so quite low. Also, the circulating supply is the same as it is right now at 7.54 billion tokens, but as you can see right now, the market cap is about 287 million tokens, okay? So let's look now at the vesting and emissions. So currently, this is the vesting schedule. Now, you won't find this anywhere else but on my channel because I had to painstakingly go and create it, and I actually created it way up until about 2030, 2035. So I've got a full dedicated video on GALA you guys can go ahead and watch at the end of this video. The link will be up here. But ultimately, this is kind of, there's a long story behind this, right? But essentially, I'm estimating about 10.6 billion tokens in 2025. As you can see right now, we're about 7.5 billion. Therefore, we are going to see a dilution of about 41% of the tokens between now and December 2025, or maybe even, you know, mid 2025, okay? So it's very important to find this out. And why is that? Well, if the market cap were to remain the same, the GALA token would dilute approximately 0.011 cents, or about 1/10 of a cent, meaning if the market cap was to stay the same in the next 2 years, nothing were to change apart from the, you know, tokens were to go into circulation, we would see a price per token of 0.027 cents. Now, again, this is going to make sense in just a minute when we tie it all in, but essentially, this is a good starting point for us to start looking at for a DCA level, okay? Now, next, let's look at probably one of the most important things, and that's market dominance, right? We have to make a couple assumptions, though. Assumption number 1 is that the market cap is going to swell in 2025/2026 to approximately $10 trillion or thereabouts, okay? Again, we're talking about market dominance. When you're talking about projects, market dominance is the market cap of that project compared to the market cap of the entire cryptocurrency market, okay? Now, again, this is going to assume a few things. We're going to pretty much have to 3x from the previous all-time high back in 2022. And I believe it's definitely possible. Most people have the consensus between $5 to $10 trillion, but I think 10 could definitely happen because we're going to have more institutional and national demand, opposed to over here, back in 2022, we really only had retail curiosity. The same as the previous bull markets, except it got more severe. All right, so yeah, assumption number 2 is going to be this, right? This is the actual market dominance chart for GALA Games, right? Now, in sort of this bluish sort of color, we've got the current price versus in purple, the market dominance. And you can see most projects do what GALA's done here and trace, they kind of mirror the price, right? So at its very, very peak, the market dominance of this project was 0.19%, meaning out of the whole 100% of the market being about that $3 trillion, GALA had about 0.19% of that market share, which is actually quite good for a project quite young and pretty much no one knew about it. Yes, the market cap up here was quite high, right? It had about a $5.19 billion market cap. That's actually quite a lot, and the circulating supply from what I've known is about the same, right? They've got terrible tokenomics, or at least they currently have terrible tokenomics for GALA. Again, this is a story for a whole different video, and I've kind of already made that video. You guys can go ahead and watch it after this one. Nevertheless, right, the main thing we need to assume here is that the market dominance is going to stay the same in the next bull market, okay, at that 0.19%. So up here, again, that would put the market cap at about $19 billion with Bitcoin, or I say Bitcoin, it's not Bitcoin, it's the entire market, okay, up here, right? So that's very important because we can use this simple metric to have a gauge as to what the sort of market cap will be, again, about $19 billion. So that's obviously about what? About 4x from what it was at the previous all-time high. But of course, this can be elevated by something called important upgrades, or something called important upgrades. It's the roadmap, right? Important events can boost this up, especially if they're timed, you know, around late 2024, early 2025, or anywhere around 2025, as long as it comes before the end of the bull market, right? So we do have GALA games, but this is actually coming a little bit soon, right? It's coming in the next couple of months, or pretty much this month, right? So it's going to include a burn mechanism, so I'm quite bullish on this. Each and every transaction will be 50% burned, which is good, but also there's a supply shock, right? So there's a maximum of 50 billion tokens, and GALA's emissions have halved, or will be halving, every single year, okay? So it's going to sort of taper out, as you saw from the previous vesting schedule. It does taper out. Now, I have my concerns with that. Again, I'm not going to go into it, but essentially, you do have some of these important upgrades that will bring more, hopefully, token value, but most importantly, it's going to obviously bring a deflationary mechanism into the mix as well. But of course, they also have GALA films and GALA music. Very, very bullish on both of these. Now, this is all contingent on the fact that they follow through with all this stuff and it actually pans out as expected. It's crypto. Anything can happen, but this is where we can go, okay, the market dominance at the tip of the last bull market was 0.19%. Maybe if these things have a positive effect and if they're timed well and everything works out, that might 2x, or it literally might have a 0. Whatever it might be, 4% market dominance. Therefore, you might find a market cap of about what, $40 billion. So these things are definitely possible, but there's no way for us to tell. That's why these four, this guide is very simple. Anyone can follow it, okay? Now, once we have all of this information, and again, it's going to make sense in a minute, we're going to determine your return on investment. Why are you, as an investor, putting your money into GALA? Why? You obviously want a return, unless you obviously just love it for the utility, okay? So you got to think to yourself, what is the minimum I want to have on my average dollar cost average percent, right? So do you want a 10x? Do you want a 30x? Do you want an 80x? Do you want a 100x? Just stop and think about that for a second, because the next steps, we're going to have to plan around this. It's going to be completely contingent on how much money you're willing to make at a minimum, okay? The rest from this level, don't look at maximums. That's a bonus. We need to look at guaranteed returns. How much are you actually wanting to get? Because there might be other projects out there that are better suited towards your more ambitious needs, okay? So to find the future price, we need to find two things. Demand, which we have, right? We found that the rough blow off top should be, at least as if everything were to stay the same as the last bull market, at that 0.19%, a $19 billion market cap, okay? Now, if they execute on the planned upgrades and so on and so forth, this will obviously create more demand. We've already spoken about that. But the other factor is supply. Now, this is a bit easier to calculate. It wasn't as easy for GALA, but nevertheless, we can assume about 10.7 billion tokens will be in circulation in 2025. Again, we can't sort of account for burn as well, right? That's just unfeasible. There's no way we can guess that, right? So we can confidently say around about a $1.78 blow off top. Now, in my opinion, again, it can definitely double that, right? As I said before, it all depends on those upgrades, but I'm going to estimate around a $2 maximum token and a minimum 47-cent token. To allow me to plot this on OKX, and by the way, I am an affiliate of OKX. I'd really appreciate it if you guys want to support the channel. If you want to use OKX, go down below. I have my affiliate link. But I'm going to use that and actually plot some of this stuff so you guys can get an idea, and this is what you should be doing as well. Okay, so just for brevity's sake, let's just briefly touch on some of the things we've spoken about. So again, 41% token dilution in about mid to late 2025. Therefore, taking the current price, if everything were to stay the same except the circulating supply, we'll see a dilution of the current token price of about 1/10 of a cent, okay? Now, market dominance, again, the blow off top, or at least if everything were to stay the same, at least historically speaking, you know, we'll see about a $19 billion market cap, okay? So with those two levels, again, we can come up with a rough token price of about $1.78, at least from the 10.7 billion tokens in circulation, right? So, but that, of course, doesn't really mean too much because we need to figure out at least some very minor but very important variables, which of course is some of the bullish factors. Now, timing on these factors, as I mentioned before, is crucial. And this isn't really that good timing, but GALA films and GALA music, we don't really know when important information about those will be coming out. So definitely I think this can be scattered through, pushed through to 24 and 25, and also in perpetuity as well. So of course, that's also better. So that's why I've added this in here. And of course, that burn mechanism is quite bullish as well for the price of the token. So based on all this stuff, right? So if we take the current price of the token at about 0.038 cents and minus this here, the about 1/10 of a cent, we come to about 0.027 cents. And of course, what I like to say is round down to the nearest whole or half whole number, okay, which is about 0.025 cents, which is what this red line here represents. It's about a 34% down from the current price. I know that's quite a lot and it might not hit, but this is when you need to go ahead and evaluate what your minimum return on investment is. If you're looking to 100x of GALA games, then this will probably drop a lot more. If you're looking to 1720x, this might be a good level. If you just want a simple 10x at a minimum, then this probably can come up to almost the same price we are here. It all depends on your you know, how much you want at least as a minimum return, okay? Guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed, but a guaranteed return, all right? So again, this level is where I will begin dollar cost averaging, setting up buy alerts, but most importantly, setting up buy orders. And this is why OKX is amazing, because you can do this, right? You can set up strategic buy orders. So if you're sleeping, you can buy in X amount of tokens at whatever price you may want, okay? So again, you know, we figured out when we want to start dollar cost averaging, and this is why it's also important to have a look at where the token can go. You know, having a look at the token dominance compared to the overall market cap as a rough idea of where it can go. So the minimum, as I said to you before, is about going to be 47 cents, okay? So from the dollar cost average price of about 0.025 cents, we're looking at about a 17x roughly, which is quite good, okay? So for me, that's like, okay, I'm happy to have about a minimum of 1720x from that price point in GALA games. Now, what I personally do, and this is my strategy, I will ladder sell. I will take my initial investment out at that point there. So if I've dollar cost average over 12 months and put in $5,000 in a GALA, I will take my $5,000 out at 47-ish cents, and I will let the rest ride and ladder sell between these 2 points. So the maximum side about $2, you know, it's way up here, okay, which is about a roughly just under 80x from that 0.025 cent. Now, of course, it can blow past this $2 range. It can definitely go under, but we don't want to take any chances. That's why we ladder sell, and that's why we dollar cost average, because we're averaging out our buys and our sells, which is just the safest way to go about things. So hopefully that's made a bit of sense, guys. It's very simple to do, and look, there's a plethora of variables that go into estimating token, you know, levels where it's going to go up, and that obviously indicates where we should start buying, but this is at least what I found the quickest and easiest way to go ahead and estimate that. So look, with all that said, this is my ideal buy and sell levels. Of course, 0.025 cents or under. Of course, the lower you get, the better. And dollar cost averaging from that point down is the best. Of course, dollar cost averaging, you cannot go wrong. It's not the most profitable in some circumstances, but it's definitely the safest, and you know, it's got the most rewards possible, right, over time. Next, we have sell, okay? I'm going to say sell at my expected minimum. Of course, this is not financial advice, right? This is just my predictions. Or more, okay? But this level here, I'm gonna say take your initial investment out and ladder sell the rest. So if you've dollar cost average over a 12-month period and you've put in $5,000, you'd wanna take out your $5,000 at that level, and then whatever you have left over, you can begin to ladder sell up to the $2 price range, or even a bit before that. Whatever it might be, you can gauge the market when these things come. It's easy for me to say now, oh, I expect $2, $3, whatever, $10 token price. But an unimaginable amount of variables are coming into the mix, so we really don't know. Hell, the token could even go up to $10. We just don't know these things, right? So it's very important you guys understand there's a lot more that goes into it than just some of the more basic stuff other YouTubers kind of put, and give to you. With that said, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think all down below, and I will be doing more of these videos. So if you want some of your favorite projects reviewed in this manner, let me know. All right, guys, take care.